Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson made all NBA selection honors seem mandatory for the Golden State Warriors. But only 2 Warriors showed up on any All-NBA teams in the previous 20 years, that being Latrell Sprewell and David Lee. Yet before that, the last Warrior to make consecutive All-NBA teams went pro in the 1980s, wore a buzz cut, and played on the original Dream Team. That's right, I'm talking about Chris Mullin. With the success of the Warriors dynasty, it would be easy to sweep Mullin's accomplishments to the side. But he was the bright spot in dark times, and we're here to put his legacy in perspective. Remember the 1992 Olympic men's basketball team, also known as the Dream Team? It was a super squad comprised of elite hoop legends, and also regular professional basketball player Christian Laettner. But according to Bill Simmons' book of basketball, that team's architect, the great Chuck Daly, had a wish list of ballers to join this super team. They included Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone, and Chris Mullin? That's right, folks. Out of all the players in the league at that time, Daly had Golden State Warriors star Mullin in his top 7. And if you take out all the big men from that wish list, Mullin was the 3rd wing selected after Jordan and Pippen. Yep, that's right. Dude sporting the buzz-cut flat top was at one point arguably the 3rd best perimeter player in the NBA. Mullin was a highly decorated college hooper at St. John's University back in the early 80s, and he even won gold in 1984 at the Olympic Games. He was drafted 7th overall in 1985 by the Warriors. Unfortunately, the Warriors were quite the dysfunctional bunch at that time, and hadn't made the playoffs since 1977. The young hotshot spent his early Warriors days being frozen out by salty teammates, struggling with his weight, and battling substance abuse issues. In Mullin's 3rd season, Don Nelson took over as both general manager and coach for the Warriors. According to the New York Times, Nelson quickly noticed that Mullin was battling alcoholism. Before the 1987 season, Mullin made an agreement with Nelson that he would not drink for 6 months. The attempt ended after 4 days. On December 10, 1987, Nelson suspended Mullin, confronted him, and ordered him to call his parents to say he needed help. Mullin said telling his father was the scariest moment of his 25-year-old life. Thankfully, Mullin didn't give up on himself, and the Warriors didn't give up on him. Mullin stopped drinking completely, dropped 30 pounds, and reestablished himself as a notorious gym rat. Hall of Famer David Robinson once referred to Mullin as a workout maniac. Reinvigorated after overcoming his demons, Mullin would go on to make 5 straight All-Star games from 1989 to 1993 and helped the Warriors into the postseason 3 out of those 5 seasons. He was a tireless scorer, averaging at least 25 points per game and 5 rebounds per game 5 years straight. The last Warrior to do that before him? Wilt Chamberlain. Mullin was gritty, tough, and played with heart. He led the league in minutes played in both the 1991 and 92 seasons. He was also in Run TMC, one of the most dazzling trios in NBA history. This period was an exciting era of explosive basketball for a Warriors franchise with championship aspirations. In the process, Mullin made 4 straight All-NBA teams in a row, and was likely on the verge of a 5th straight until he got hurt in the 1993 season. That first-team All-NBA selection in 1992 solidified Mullin's standing as a baller amongst ballers. That's why they had to have him on the Dream Team that year, where they won gold, of course. Unfortunately, after the 92 season, Mullin's body began to break down. He suffered a torn ligament in his right thumb that cut short his 92-93 season, despite averaging a career-high 25.9 points per game. In the 93-94 season, he missed the first 20 games of the year with a torn finger ligament. In the 94-95 season, he missed extended time again with a chip fracture, sprained ligament, and strained left hamstring all in his left leg. Mullin's body forced him to miss 143 games over a 5-year stretch after his Dream Team glory. The Warriors eventually felt Mullin was just too injury-prone to keep. In August of 97, he was traded by the Warriors to the Indiana Pacers for Eric Dampier and Dwayne Farrell. Mullin helped the Pacers make a couple of deep playoff runs before returning to the Warriors in the 2001 season to retire with the franchise that drafted him. After his playing days, he was immediately hired by the Warriors as a special assistant, and in 2004 was promoted to Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations for Golden State. In fact, he rehired old friend Don Nelson and created the We Believe era Warriors team. That means that as both player and executive, Mullin has guided the Warriors into the playoff picture, a rare feat before the Dynasty era. He left the Warriors in 2009 and was immortalized in basketball lore by being inducted into the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame twice. First as a member of the Dream Team.
Thank Chris Mullin as he shot with the left hand and it was all net every single time. And then he would do it one more time, all net with the left hand. Woo!
And second, as an individual for his stellar career. Mullin said he considered being named to the Dream Team as his defining achievement, playing on what was probably the greatest team ever. And with the high praise from Chuck Daly, it stands as a lasting statement about just how highly he was regarded at that moment. When you combine the numbers with the NBA accolades and cap it off with not one, but 2 gold medals, it really drives home just how elite Mullin was beyond merely being 1/3 of an exciting Run TMC unit. That's why his number 17 hangs high in the Warriors arena to this very day. Mullin is a real Warrior through and through, and he will always live on in Dub Nation.